Hello and welcome back to the next episode of VGC Guides, the show where I break down how to use the new Pokémon Pokemon so you don't have to. I took a couple of days off because I got sick and didn't have anything pre-recorded, but it's okay because I am back. Now today we're talking about a Pokemon that embodies the symbol of peace, and that Pokemon is of course Arboliva, or Arboliva, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to say Arboliva because it rolls off the tongue better. Now Arboliva is the final evolution of another Pokemon that was a fan favorite ever since its release trailer, Smoliv. So today, let's find out if Arboliva has the potential to shake up the competitive meta, or if Peace is better suited for this Olive Branch Pokemon. Alright, so right off the bat, Arboliva, it's an Olive Branch, it looks cool. And I like how you got the two different types of olives. I don't know olives. If I'm wrong about that, then I'm wrong about that. I don't do it. Anyways, so first thing I'll talk about is grass normal typing, right? Historically, there's only ever been one Pokemon that has had grass normal typing, and that's the Sawsbuck line, and I don't remember the last time I've seen a Sawsbuck used in a serious VGC event or ladder match above, like, top 1000 Master Ball. So historically, the only other grass normal type Pokemon has not done well. And unfortunately, being a grass type, it does have the curse of being weak to, like, 5 types, I think. Right? Fire, Ice, Flying, Bug. I feel like there was more. Maybe there's not. Oh, and poison. So yeah, historically, like, being a grass type has never been great. Like, defensively, just being weak to so many different types. Now, fortunately, only, like, what, 2 of those are common right now? Like, fire and ice type coverage. Flying coverage was, like, really big back in, what, 2020 through 2022 with Max Airstream going around everywhere. Poison coverage has never been something really worried about, and then bug coverage, if you run into a Scizor against the Smolv, then you run into a Scizor against the Smolv and you don't bring it, or you do something differently. Okay, that's not... Sorry, I'm trying to fix some setup things. There it is. Oh, that's the problem. Yeah, so anyways, I had to put off, like, recording this, like, 20 minutes after I recorded the intro, because I, like, was taking a drink of coffee, and then somehow after, like, 21 years of life, I still haven't figured out how to drink things without choking. So anyways, there's that. Now, onto this thing's abilities. Both of this Pokemon's abilities are, like, actually really good. Now, Seed Sower is a very unique ability that we haven't seen anything like this in competitive Pokemon before, or Pokemon in general. Basically, it's Grassy Surge, but you have to get hit first, right? Now, this is useful because, like, when this thing comes out on the field, you don't necessarily know right away if it's going to be Seed Sower or Harvest. And so you do have to kind of risk attacking this Pokemon. Like, you do have to attack this Pokemon to even figure out what its ability is. But I think Seed Sower actually has potential to be, like, a really great ability. Obviously, again, it is just worse Grassy Surge, but it works out. And then there's Harvest, right? We've seen a few Pokemon use Harvest in the past. I know, like, Exeggutor had some play with Sun and Harvest, because in Sun, so with Harvest you have a 50% chance of restoring a consumed berry. During Sun, you have a 100% chance to get that berry back, which is actually very good, because you could essentially, like, stack citrus berries and just always be recovering health. Or you can do weird things with Substitute and get down to, like, 25% health and just stack Pitaya berries or Salac berries and raise your special attack or speed. That being said, let's move on to this thing's stats. To see if, that's actually useful. So, right off the bat, like, 78 HP, 90 defense, 109 special defense is actually somewhat bulky. Obviously, as far as, like, a bulky Pokemon goes, the HP leaves a little bit to be desired. But even 78 with a 90 base defense and 109 special defense is definitely not bad bulk. Next, it's got 125 special attack. Now, that's actually quite high, right? For reference, Volcarona and Chi-Yu have base 135 Pokemon, or base 135 special attack. It actually shares the same special attack stat as Hydreigon, I think. We'll look right now. Also, spoiler alert, yeah. So it shares the same special attack stat with Hydreigon. So, Hydreigon does damage. This thing is certainly capable of putting out some insane damage. Next, I want to talk about the speed. 39 speed is really slow, which means it's really great for Trick Room. I'm not sure exactly what the speed tiers are around everything surrounding that, but you do underspeed quite a few Pokemon that are common right now. We can actually just look. So of the common Pokemon that you outspeed, by outspeed I mean like are faster than under Trick Room. We'll pull up 39. So 40 base speed was gonna go down the list here. This looked a lot better in my head, not gonna lie. I guess there's Dragalge. Not that we're seeing Dragalge. A Tingaloo is unfortunately not usable right now. In the off chance you run into some dude trying to troll you with a Belly Bolt, you underspeed that under Trick Room. Iron Hands is one thing. You underspeed Kingambit under Trick Room, you underspeed Azumarill under Trick Room. Now we're getting to the good mons. You underspeed Hariyama. So yeah, like you underspeed like a very good chunk of Pokemon that are fast under Trick Room. Not that anybody can use this, but so yeah, like with 39 speed, you actually underspeed like a lot of Pokemon that are pretty slow or pretty fast under Trick Room, as well as just all like in general like mid-tier speed types. So yeah, 39 speed is actually a very good speed tier. Anyways, back to this. So, previous episodes of VGC Guides, I've kind of gone through the Pokemon's learn set, move pools, and whatnot to kind of talk about the moves it learns. But what I've found is happening is I go through the move set, and then I go through the move pool, and then I talk about most like the actual important moves when I go over the sets. So going forward, I will most likely be skipping the move pool evaluation unless viewers want me to continue doing that, in which case I'll just do that. But the way I see it is I can skip the move pool evaluation and then focus more on the sets instead of just telling you the sets, kind of explain like what they do, how you would use them, what you would partner them with. And again, like most of the usable moves that I'll see do get covered in the sets. And then if there's any other noteworthy moves that I won't cover in the sets, I will cover them here. So again, just let me know if you want me to continue going over the move pool, going over its move pools, or if you're cool with it just being kind of gone over like when I talk about the sets. That being said, let's talk about this Pokemon's potential sets. You kind of got a spoiler alert to one of them like a minute ago, but the first I want to talk about is like a Trick Room Sun Citrus Berry, right? I brought this up with Harvest. You'd run this with, I did it like Torkoal. The idea is like, you'd obviously run this like alongside Torkoal. Very potent Sun Sweeper. The grass type covers for Torkoal's water and ground type, water, ground, and rock type weakness, which is again very useful. Torkoal covers for this thing's the bug and ice weakness as well. And then with Harvest and Citrus Berry, the second you get knocked down to below 50% HP, you will always have your Citrus Berry, and it will always come back at the end of the turn because of 100% berry recovery in Sun. As for the move pool, you're on Protect, just because having Protect to help set up Trick Room if you want to do it next to the setter or in front of like a priority move is always useful. And especially beside like Yawn Torkoal, is you can like yawn a Pokemon a turn and then just double Protect so that the Pokemon's guaranteed to fall asleep. Next we have Solar Beam. And the reason I say Solar Beam over like a different grass type move is, first of all, your next strongest grass type move, or the strongest grass type move, is obviously Leaf Storm. However, and you could certainly run Leaf Storm on the set, but I think sacrificing 10 base power to not have your special attack drop by 2 at the end of the turn is kind of useful, especially like if you're running this thing on a Trick Room Sun, which is a very potent team comp, right? Very easy to pull off. Next is Weather Ball, because it allows you to hit Steel type Pokemon. You don't necessarily need Weather Ball. Like in this slot, you can just run Earth Power as well. The reason I put Weather Ball in here is like, if you're in a position where you have to switch your Torkoal out, or your Torkoal has already fainted but Sun is still up, you have Weather Ball to hit the Steel types that are running around. I'm very specifically talking about like Dragon types that go Terra Steel. But again, like if you're confident that you can keep your Torkoal in the field, you can go for Earth Power to not have to have double fire coverage, and this allows you to actually hit the poison types that you're weak to as well as hitting electric types, right? Next is Dazzling Gleam. I think Dazzling Gleam is just really solid coverage, and again, like you can switch moves around and even run like maybe Earth Power Weather Ball, or Earth Power and even Terra Blast and Terra into some other random coverage type that you want. I don't personally know what you would run off the top of my head, but you could run a bunch of different Terra types, right? So the Trick Room Sun, the Trick Room Sun build has a lot of like variation on it. You can obviously, oh, this is actually wrong. There you go. The reason that's important is because like if you're running a Citrus Berry, because it activates at 50% health, you want your HP to be an even number. so that it always activates at half and not activates at 1 below half. It makes a difference if you ever get like Super Fanged or Ruination or Nature's Madness. I've seen instances where people did not EV their Pokemon, like their citrus Pokemon correctly. I clicked Nature's Madness into them, they get knocked to 1 above half, and then I KO them the next turn because they didn't have the Citrus Berry recovery. So that's why this is important, or highlighted everything. That's why this is important. The next set I want to talk about is just Trick Room specs. You could run Life Orb on the set if you want to as well. I think specs has a potential to be very powerful. Because this one isn't necessarily Sun, I am switching to Energy Ball. Again, you could run Leaf Storm on this slot if you wanted to. I think Terra Grass specs Leaf Storm has like amazing damage potential. And then obviously Earth Power, Dazzling Leaf. It does get Hyper Voice as well if you wanted to use your normal stab. And then again, like, because Terra is a thing, you could even use Terra Blast and run things, or you could do, I don't know where the move went. Where did the move go? Oh, down here. You could also run Pollen Puff on this Pokemon as well. It gives you bug coverage to hit other grass types and hit dark types and psychic types. It also gives you the ability to heal your partner Pokemon as well. And under Trick Room, like, that could be useful because you're almost always going first. With this Pokemon's base 39 speed, right? So Trick Room specs, again, like Leaf Storm or Energy Ball. Like I said, like Terra Grass specs Leaf Storm with grassy terrain has the potential. Also, yeah, on the specs or Life Orb sets, you'd probably run Seed Sower just so you can get, especially on the Life Orb set, I think you'd want to run Seed Sower so that you can recover some of the HP you lose via Life Orb. The next that I want to talk about is Life Orb Sun. It's Life Orb. It's basically the same as the Citrus Sunset, but with Life Orb and Seed Sower. And again, the reason you run Seed Sower is so that you can get the passive recovery on your Mons. This also helps with Torkoal because Torkoal does have Eruption, and so you can passively recover your Torkoal's HP as well. And then Life Orb with Seed Sower, like with grassy terrain, you recover, I think it's like a 16th of your HP. And with Life Orb, you're losing like a 10th, so you're really not losing that much HP every turn with Seed Sower. And again, like the move pool theory goes the same as the Citrus Sunset. Protects. I have solo one here. You could run Leaf Storm or Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam, Weather Ball, and you can switch these around to Earth Power and Terra Blast. That's Weather Ball. But you get the point. It's the same as the Sun Harvest Citrus set. Now the next set I want to talk about, and this set could be actually really fun. Very reminiscent of a way I used to run Whimsicott back in 2017. Is like an endgame stall type Pokemon, right? This is more of an endgame physical stall, but you would run Protect, Strength Sap, Synthesis, Giga Drain with Seed Sower and Leftovers. And the idea is between Leftovers and Seed Sower, you have Seed Sower Grassy Terrain. Between these two, you have a lot of end of turn recovery, and then with Protect, you can recover quite a bit of HP. And the benefit of Seed Sower over like Grassy Terrain on top of Bulu or Rillaboom, for example, is that when your Grassy Terrain runs out on this Mon, but it's the last Pokemon you have, it's not like you can't reset it. You just get hit again and reset it. And so Leftovers, Seed Sower, Protect, you have Strength Sap to heal your HP and lower the target's attack stat, which is why this is an endgame physical stall. And then you have Synthesis and Giga Drain. And the idea of this set is that you can Strength Sap and Protect, like you can combine Strength Sap and Protect quite a few times, and just really like sap their HP down to, or sap their attack down to like a level where they're not doing any damage to you, barring crits. With max HP, max defense, you could even probably tank a crit, maybe even two, after Protect, Seed Sower, Leftovers recovery. And so the idea with this is you just sit there and recover HP for a long time. Yes, Synthesis only has 8 power points. You could even, like, if you wanted to, you could swap Synthesis for, like, Leech Seed, or you could swap Giga Drain for Leech Seed, or you can swap Protect for Substitute. I don't recommend this one, but you could swap, like, Protect for Leech Seed, and essentially have the combination of Leftovers, Seed Sower, and Leech Seed recovery every single turn, or even swap, like, Synthesis for Protect. Like, this is also a version of the set that you could do. The reason you have Giga Drain is just in case you get taunted, and again, it's just a little bit of extra recovery every turn, and allows you to play more actively instead of more passively. I think this set could be very fun. It doesn't hold necessarily like a lot of weight. It's not a very threatening set, and it's, like I said, it's very it functions a lot of the same way that like Ferrothorn did back in 2020, mid 2020, where in Ferrothorn's case, you boosted your defense to a point where they're not doing any damage. In Arboliva's case, you lower their attack to a point where they're not doing any damage. Both sets are fairly crit weak, which is just something you have to watch out for, and something you have to kind of expect if you're playing like a long game with Leech Seed, Strength Stat, Protecting Giga Drain. The last set I kind of want to talk about is just like a pure support set, because this Pokemon does have a pretty decent like support move pool. You're once again running like your leftovers, your Seed Sower, and then you have Protect. I think Protect is just really big this generation, as a way to like scout out for Terra types, because there have been plenty of games where like the team I'm running uses like Terra Steel Dragonite, where I will leave it as a Dragon type and Protect on a turn, and then wait to see what their moves are going to be, and then Terra Steel the next turn to resist their Dragon and Ice type moves the Dragon, Ice, and Fairy type moves that they would throw at the Dragonite. So Protect is just very good for scouting, and then you can also like scout Terra types. Like it'd be really unfortunate to be going up against a Water type with your Grass type Pokemon, and then they Terrafy or Terra Blast you after you hit them with a Grass type move. So I just think Protect, even on like support sets, is going to be really big this generation. I'm even using Protect Arcanine at this point. Excuse me. So the next move on the set is Helping Hand. I think Helping Hand is just a really great move. Essentially, you know, giving your Pokemon an extra 50, like effectively like a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf boost to any, or Choice Specs or Choice Band boost to any one of their attacks is usually pretty huge. It works especially well with spread moves. Things like Golden Goes, what do you call it? Make It Rain, or Dazzling Gleam off of various Pokemon, or even Rock Slides off of like any other Pokemon that gets Rock Slide. And even with Grass typing, you can do it alongside like Earthquake users. It's technically anti-synergetic with Seed Sower, but if you're running like, if Grassy Terrain is like currently away, like you can very easily run Helping Hand into an Earthquake that can set your own Seed Sower as well. I think you can like, self-setting your own Grassy Terrain is also a thing that you can do with this Pokemon. Works especially well in the support sets like this. You like Protect and then like Swords Dance or some Dragon Dance turn 1, and then Helping Hand Earthquake turn 2. The Earthquake is resisted because you're a Grass type, and then your Seed Sower sets your Grassy Terrain, and then you still do insane damage to other two Pokemon with a 50% boost via Helping Hand. The next move is Encore. I think Encore is a really great move for support sets. Or Encore is just a really great move in general. Like, it's really satisfying to anticipate that your opponent is going for a setup move and then just Encore them into that setup move, and then they're stuck using it. With 8 power points and they're repeating the same move for 3 turns in a row, for the most part you essentially have like 24 turns worth of stalling you can do with Encore. And even most setup moves, I think Dragon Dance might only have like 16 power points. Let's find out. Oops. Oh, Dragon Dance is 32 power points, bad example. But you get the point, like you can stall out with Encore. And then as they're doing things, as they're like stuck using that move, you can just whittle them down with your other moves. And the other move is Pollen Puff. Now, you could run a Grass type move, you could run Giga Drain on this Pokemon as well, but because we're running a support set, it works the same way like Pollen Puff and Moongus would work, is you can use it to A, damage the opposing Pokemon, or B, heal yourself. Again, like healing 50% of your allies' max HP can make quite a difference, especially in like, if you have like either A, bulky allies, or B, like Pokemon that just needs to be at full health, like Arboliva, like I mentioned earlier, Arboliva Torkoal, you could Pollen Puff your Torkoal to get that thing back up to max HP or really high HP and make the eruptions do a lot more damage. So that's Arboliva. As far as Arboliva goes, like my personal overview of it, it's actually like, I was kind of surprised. It was surprisingly a very good Pokemon. I wasn't initially going to cover this Pokemon, and then there's just this kind of this I guess like a stigma, or not a stigma, because it's kind of experience based, right? But like the earlier out Pokemon just tend to not be very great competitively. I know like Talonflame is not an example of this, but like, so I come to find my surprise that when I'm looking over this Pokemon for the first time, like I see that it is actually good. So yeah, I was very surprised that this thing is actually like as good as it is. Like I said, it can be an effective like support Pokemon or a very effective sweeper under Trick Room. Very strong in Sun because you have Seed Sower to boost your Solar Beams and Harvest. I think you can be a very strong Sun Sweeper. For the most part, I do think you will be going Terra Grass on this Pokemon. I can see you doing other I can see other Terra types, maybe even like Terra Fire. Oh, Terra Fire Weather Ball in Sun could actually be very strong too. Again, because you have a Torkoal next to you, I don't see you necessarily doing this, but I think it could be very fun and very powerful. And then like at this point in the meta, there's like fire types. Yes, Torkoal is everywhere, but fire types in general are pretty uncommon. You have like Arcanine, you have Armarouge, and then you have, where's Torkoal? Oh, there's Torkoal. Torkoal, and then all the way down here you do have Talonflame, but Talonflame is not even in the top 25% of Mons. You go down farther and you get Skeledirge, which is number 33. Volcarona at number 36. So like the fire types are generally pretty uncommon. And even if you do run it into the fire types, like I said, this thing does get Earth Power, or you could go Terra Water and Terra Blast the fire types. Like you have options against the fire types. So in general, I think this thing could actually be very strong. I think also the fact that the Paradox Pokemon are not allowed right now gives this thing a lot more potential to come in. However, I also think that if the Paradox Pokemon come back and Sun gets even stronger when the Paradox Pokemon come back, I can see this Mon picking up in usage a lot. So yeah, that's Arboliva. That's all I got for today. Stay tuned because I'm going to do a bit of a different style video next. I want to talk about a very specific item. If you know me, you know what I know I'm talking about. If you don't know me, then you'll just have to wait and find out. So that's all I got. Have a great rest of your guys' nights or days or whenever you're watching this, and peace.